What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tattoo Critiques. I'm Pony Lawson, and you know what we like to do here is talk about your tattoos. Whether you're an artist, collector, or just an apprentice, we like to talk about them all. But today we are specifically talking about artist tattoos. And these are the people that have moved beyond their apprenticeship, working full-time, and are looking for a little bit of insight or maybe a tip or trick or two to help them move along. So I'm excited to see what you guys have sent in. Let's get it. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. If you guys could please hit that subscribe button, as we do push out brand spanking new videos every week. And if you already are subscribed, don't be shy, hit that like button. Alright, let's check out this first submission. Alright, this first submission was sent in by Kenzie Luna, and Kenzie, you sent in this beautiful looking purple owl. The first thing I will say is maybe consider cropping your photos, because that's kind of rude to your clients. Because you either caught her mid-blink or she's hammered drunk. Either way, let's check out the tattoo. The very first thing I noticed are these bright, vivid colors. I really think you used a nice color palette here. The blues bounce off the purples and greens so well, it's very pleasing to the eye. The next thing I want to talk about is the composition. It really does have a nice flow, and it almost looks like you planned this out to fit her arm perfectly. And I will say her choice of dress really complements the tattoo so well. It's almost like she dressed specifically for the tattoo that day. And as we start to break things down, the next thing up on the table is the line work. I really like your use of multiple line weights in this tattoo, as it really gives it a nice depth. The flower in the front has nice thick lines, giving us a nice perspective of what's in the foreground. And the same thing could be said about the dagger and the owl's wing. It just really pushes that focus to the front where it should be. You did mention this tattoo was done in 2 sessions and that the outlines are healed, so I do believe that's why the lines look not as dark as a fresh tattoo. If I'm being nitpicky, it does look like a couple of those lines got a little squirrely if we look to the outside of that left wing and the blade of the dagger. But for the most part, it does look like you've got pretty good control. If we zoom in and check out these 2 stars on the outside of the owl, they're not exactly symmetrical. It almost seems like the one on the right side got away from me a little bit. And if it wasn't out there by itself, it wouldn't be as noticeable, but I do think that those things could have been tightened up a bit. I do think your saturation is okay, but your blending could use a little bit of help. Especially if we look to the rightmost leaf, I can really tell where you started and stopped each color. And that kind of carries out through some of these petals as well. When we look down at this petal that's underneath the dagger, I notice that you use the same blue that's used in the owl, just helping it feel like it's tucked underneath that owl's wing. It's a really nice touch. When it comes to background shades, people usually either nail it or struggle with it a bit, and it feels like you kind of fell right in the middle. For the most part, around the entire tattoo, you did a good job with making it feel natural. However, when it comes to the shading that's on either side of the top of that moon, it just feels like you cut it off a bit too early. I would have liked to seen that shade on the left side come down just a bit more, exposing some of those leaves, and it would have met up with the right side a lot more smooth. Overall, this is a really nice piece. I would just work on softening up those blends and really paying attention to where you put those outside shades. But thank you so much, Kenzie, for sending that in. And the next one up is from Rey Sanchez out of Houston, Texas. And Rey, you've mentioned you've been tattooing for about 5 years, and you sent over this skull and snake tattoo. Rey, I don't mind the color choices you used in this tattoo, but I would have really loved to see some black throughout this entire thing. Without that black being in here, it just falls flat. And with all this bending and winding that the snake has, you're really just missing out on movement and depth. This thing could have been a lot more bold had you just used some solid blacks. Before we get too far into the details, I want to talk about your composition, because I think you just fell short. This being a snake, you really had the opportunity to design this thing with the body's natural flow and muscle structure. Our job as artists is to design things that accentuate our clients' features, and not just slap something on the front of their limb so you can see it all on Instagram. Because that's kind of what it feels like you did here. Your client has some obvious muscle lines, it would have been in your best interest to use those, and it would have looked a lot more pleasing to the eye. I think the skull is in the right spot, as it works well with that round shoulder. However, if it were me, I would have taken that snake all the way around the back of that tricep and back toward the bicep and then come down. That alone would help this thing feel so much more natural, and you wouldn't have to have that broke back snake mountain. Broke snake mountain? Because as it sits, right there where that snake bends just feels busted. I think it's broke, boy. Now, as far as the details go, let's break down this skull. I think the cracks that you have in this skull just really don't feel believable. It would have been nice to see those cracks move along with the form of the skull itself. And I think you did a good job with the crack above the nose. It really feels like that nose is being pushed back and then up. But when it comes to the cracks in the right side of the skull, they just really don't feel believable. They almost look like last-minute additions. And to me, the teeth just look all over the place, and the shading that you have behind that jawbone just really looks lazy. At 5 years in, your skulls really should be put together a lot better than this, as skulls are a tattoo staple, and you'll likely be tattooing a lot more of these in your future. And as we work our way down to the snake, now I'm no snake expert, but it really looks like this thing has chickenpox. There just seems to be way too many holidays in the red where it doesn't look consistent, and same thing could be said about the pink in the belly and those lines in the belly. It just seems like this thing was rushed. You know, when I first looked at this tattoo, I thought, it looked really cool, but the further we break it down, I think the further it breaks down. It's just really lacking some good fundamentals fundamentals, you really gotta slow down and take your time. But thank you so much, Rey, for sending that in. All right, this next tattoo is sent in from Lil B out of Vietnam. And you've mentioned you've been tattooing for about 2 years. And LB, you sent in this nice little framed up landscape tattoo. And I have to admit, I really like this tattoo. Of course, there are a couple flaws here and there that we'll get into, but overall, this one really is pleasing to the eye. Now, obviously, you're not the first person to do this kind of tattoo, as they are fairly common, but a lot of times we see the entire subject matter contained inside of the frame. So it's nice to see that you have some of these elements coming outside of the frame, and it's not just a shape filled with stuff. Now, clearly, the most noticeable parts about this tattoo are the green pieces of the tree, and it's a really nice touch. It really breaks up all that shading quite well. Now, when it comes to making shape tattoos like this, you really have to be spot on, because you notice any little inconsistency. Like when we look up to the top of this tattoo. You see that one little dip in the line, and it's fairly noticeable. But for the most part, it still looks like a pretty decent rectangle. One thing that's confusing is I'm not quite sure if that's 3 rocks in the water or if that's 1 large tree and 2 rocks. So I would like to see more detail in that frontmost feature just to kind of set it apart from everything else. And it would have also given it some nice depth. More details in the front, less details in the back. So if that is a rock with a tree behind it, you really have to make sure you've got some good separation, because as it sits, it's just a little hard to distinguish. One more thing about this rectangle is you do have an outline around the entire thing, but it does seem like you're missing a segment when it comes to the left of that sun. My biggest fear is as it heals, it'll lighten up and you may lose a little bit of that structure that that rectangle has. That's nothing that you can't go back into, give it a little loving, and make sure that that rectangle is a rectangle forever. When it comes to the shading in the sky, it would have been nice to see some soft shading rather than that stipple work similar to how you have in the water below. It just feels like you rushed through that area a little bit and it comes off as a little cheap. Another thing that draws my attention is your use of white, especially in those cloudy features. I think you would have been better off having no white in those areas and then just had the shades in the background. I would have saved the whites only for the birds, allowing them to stand out from everything else. But again, these are just some small adjustments you can make in the future because it is a nice and unique design. I think the biggest one is just to slow down when it comes to your shading, and you'll be all right, Lil B. Thank you so much for setting that in. Real quick, I want to take a break and give a shout out to the sponsor of this channel, Mad Rabbit. If you're an artist, they've got everything you need. From glide to bandages, they've got you covered. And collectors, you still need to take care of your tattoos even after they're healed. So head on over to madrabbit.com, check out what they've got, and don't forget to use code PONY20 to save 20% off of your entire order. All right, let's get back to it. Up next, we've got an updated submission sent over by Megan L. Now, last year, Megan sent over this Articuno Pokemon tattoo, and I told her she should work on her line weight, adding blacks, and work on her color blends. Let's see how she's progressed over the past year. The first thing I will say, amazing Buc-ee's shorts. Buc-ee's is the best, boy. I've never been to a Buc-ee's. All right, well, right off the bat, I can definitely tell there's some improvement on the line weights. I see some addition of some heavy line weights, as well as some really nice thin gray wash lines. Compared to the last one, what a world of difference. You can really tell that you've been putting your nose down and working hard, especially when it comes to those thinner line weights, because I absolutely love those thin line weights in the hilt of the sword. I think you did an excellent job here. Now, I still notice you didn't really add any black shading underneath these colors, which could have been the reference, but it would have been nice to see that introduced here. And that would have just given it some more dimension and longevity as far as the tattoo life goes. On the back side of the hair, in the jacket, and under her hand would have been a few places to add that. All those places where you're going to have a darker shade of that color or heavy shadows. Now, when it comes to the color blending, there's definitely still some areas that you could work on, especially when it comes to the hair. It's just very harsh and blocky, and there's no real smooth transition. That also carries over to some of these shades on the jacket. Again, they're just very harsh, and I think a lot of that has to do with your actual hand movement. If you were to work on tapering out the needle from the skin instead of just blocking those colors in, I think you'd be better off. But it's obvious you're clearly getting the hang of things. If we look at those eyes, I think you did an exceptional job with those glares and highlights. And again, coming back down to that hilt, the highlight that runs through the entire thing, I think you did a great job. And there's another little highlight in there that I'll pass over, but I really like it. Now, one part I'm not so sure about is that little white area above her hand. I don't know this character very well, so I don't know if that's supposed to be purple, but that white is just a little off-putting. Now, I really like the skin tone in the face, especially where it meets up next to that right eye, making the whites of the eyes look white. But I'm just unsure of what's happening on the left side of her face. I'm sure it's supposed to be a glare, but it would have been nice to see that skin tone go over to that gray wash outline as well. It just seems like the white of that eye and the skin are too similar. And you continue that down to the left of her mouth. Now, I'm not trying to pick this thing apart, but I am. Because there are obviously still some things that you need to work on. However, if we put these side by side, you can definitely see some improvement. It seems as though you're really putting in your time and taking this a lot more serious. But thank you so much, Megan, for sending that in, and I'm excited to see your work in another year. Keep it up. Up next, we've got Paul out of Germany, tattooing for about 3 years. And Paul, you sent over a handful of very unique looking tattoos. Let's talk about a couple of them. This first one seems to be an ear being held by a hand with some drops on top. And I don't know if this is some kind of melting DMT trip or what, but it's fun to look at. One of my favorite elements about this tattoo is this nice, heavy, crisp line weight that you have around the hand, in contrast with the stipple shading that you have in the drops and in the ear. There's just something about the style. It's modern, it's contemporary, it's just neat. It's nice to see that you have great control of your line work as well as your stipple shading. If it were just the drops, I really couldn't judge your stipple shading. But when we come down to that ear, you can really tell that you've got great control and the way you build shape is just awesome. Very simple design, but very unique. Let's see what else we sent. So here, when it comes to the eye, you've got a very similar style when it comes to that stipple work. And I'm really a big fan of how you've got this dark area on the top right of the eye, how that kind of surpasses the upper eyelid going the other way, how they kind of just meet in the middle. I don't know how to explain it, but again, it's just really cool. You've just got some nice contrast coming from both sides. Even the circles in the eyes are just on point. And there goes those drips again, just drip, drip, dropping. And I really don't think those middle parts of the eye would look near as cool without those highlights. Excellent job with that negative space. Everything just seems to be very well thought out and probably designed on paper before hitting skin. And I want to take a look at one more. This piece of toast that kind of blows my mind. Obviously this is some sort of optical illusion, but to me it makes it feel like that toast is some other color than the skin tone. Yeah, it's a f***ing trip. Do you see what I mean? How it looks like the toast is a different color than the skin, but I don't think it is. I think it's just the drops. Yeah. It's crazy. Am I losing my mind? And just the texture of the bread. A little sandy, but it's awesome. Everything that needs to be soft is soft, and everything that needs to be sharp is sharp, and everything just seems to be in the right place. There is a little bit of concern that when this heals, we may lose those stronger edges on the top and bottom piece of the toast, but with that peppering that it has, it almost seems like our eyes are gonna do the job and complete it for us. It's just very interesting. But it feels like you have complete control of your tattoos and you've got a very unique and creative style. Thank you so much, Paul, for sending those in. Up next, we've got another artist from Germany, Stefan Krämer, and you've been tattooing for about 1 year. Stefan, you sent over a couple tattoos. Let's take a peek at the first one. So right out of the gate, I love this style of tattoo. It almost feels like some kind of rough sketch in somebody's notebook, but clearly more refined. And I don't know what's more impressive, but the client getting this on their ribcage, hot damn, that had to be spicy. I absolutely love the hair, how it's got a really nice flow to it, and the shading that's on the inside of the legs and the body genuinely looks like it's been drawn in with a pencil. But there are also a couple of things that I'm not a huge fan of. How it kind of looks like she's wearing size 14 ballet slippers, which would be awkward not wearing any other clothing. And also I think there's something a little wonky with her right arm, especially in that shoulder area. It almost gives it that appearance that her neck is sitting behind her shoulder. And I know this is supposed to resemble a sketch, but there are a couple little humps and bumps on that backside line, if you know what I mean. I think you can get away with being messy anywhere else, but those main features really have to be pulled off clean. But you did send in another one, so let's take a peek at that. Well, that's goofy.
Now that's what I call Dad Jokes Volume 2, with popular hits such as, did you get your hair cut? No, I got them all cut. What's your computer's favorite snack? Microchips. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it. And many, many more. We'll have dads on the line ready to answer the phone. YOLO!
Sorry about that. Back to the tattoo. And much like the other tattoo, this is one of those sketch-style tattoos without all those accent lines, which makes this tattoo look a bit tighter overall, but I really don't mind those accent lines. It almost brings more uniqueness to the table. And again, very solid tattoo. It's captured a lot of depth with nothing but lines. Super impressive. The outlines on this tattoo are a bit more clean and controlled, but I do believe that's because you have a bit more room for error. It is a cartoon after all. I think when this thing heals up, those shading lines will look more like a pencil, which is cool, and I think that's the idea after all. I just hope those individual shade lines don't spread out too much over time, and if they do, I hope they end up nice and smooth and don't look like one big mess. And coming from somebody who does a lot of micro portraits, there is a very fine line to ride, making sure your lines aren't too deep or too shallow. And you've only been tattooing for a year, so you really haven't seen your work healed 2, 3, 5 years from now. But this is a great start, and I only think you're going to perfect your craft from here. But thank you so much, Stefan, for sending your work and allowing me to take a peek. All right, now that the critiques are out of the way, time for me to give you my favorite artist of the episode, and that is Paul out of Germany with this very unique stipple, bold line work, I don't know, what would you guys call it? Let me know in the comments below. Regardless, I absolutely love this style of work. With every tattoo sent in, there was something unique as well as something very familiar. It's just this nice push and pull. It's just so damn interesting and leaves me wanting to see more. Although these tattoos seem to have a very simplistic quality, I guarantee you none of these were easy to pull off. It's always refreshing to see something new come in the inbox instead of us having to go find it. So Paul, thank you so much for sending those in, and once again, congratulations on being my favorite this week. Hey, nobody told you to leave. We're not done yet. That's going to lead us into my featured artist of the week, somebody who I think you should all be following. And that artist is Andrey Vasilyev out of Powerline Tattoo in Rhode Island. Andrey specializes in beautiful, bold, neo-traditional work that's just stunning. I would almost say that some of his neo-traditional work teeters on the side of realism because it is just so clean. Earlier we talked about how important composition is, and Andrey understands this so very well with just the way that his tattoos flow on the body. Not to mention his color choices and excellent comprehension of color theory really make these tattoos pop off the skin. So do yourself a favor, head on over to his Instagram, give him a follow, like his stuff, share his stuff, and let him know I sent you. Alright guys, that's going to be it. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, if you'd like to see your work critiqued on this series, you can do so by sending them to ponycritiques@gmail.com. As always, I will see you guys next week.